The signal 50,000 years ago. Eve felt a twist unfold in the cold waves that moved throughout her body. Goosebumps rose on her skin and her hair stood on end. Something was not right. She looked up at Adam as they walked down the path, brushed by the low bushes and sheltered from the hotter rays of the sun. Wet, the overhanging branches of the oak was so welcome. Did you feel the change in energy? She asked Adam. No, I'm just enjoying the quiet of the garden, he replied. What is it that you're sensing? I don't know just yet, but something is off. Reminds me of the feelings I had yesterday. A few of the forms my teacher had me taste left similar sensations. I know that they are warning me to be watchful. But of what? Will you trust what I feel? You know I will. You are the one. Adam laughed and squeezed her hand in assurance. He acknowledged that she knew more than he did about keeping their garden clear. Eve continued walking, eyes open, senses alert. Something was not right. Something was off. Chapter 4. Preparing for birthing, 35,000 years ago. Myra breathed deeply and let out a laugh that filled the laboratory. Tuma's team members turned to look at her, and she covered her mouth to stifle her giggles. Relief, a major hurdle crossed. Tuma would be on the first wave of the Restore mission. Planning to incarnate into physical bodies was different than having moved within a light body of the consortium outreach group. The light body had not prepared him for working in this dense energy body, so some simulated practice. Watching Tuma maneuver the simulated bodysuits, one that would be much too small at first, had struck Myra as outrageously funny. It was all that she could do to keep herself still until Tuma completed the routine. Her laughter broke the team's intense concentration, and then everybody erupted with laughter and cheers. Watching Tuma maneuver the simulated bodysuit was funny. His planning team members were highly intelligent and competent. One of the volunteers was on the original mission, Grogan, an ancient one. He'd been assigned to Tuma's team. He carried himself with a confidence deepened by his time as a first family member. He had walked the earth at a time of real freedom and curiosity. He had watched his mate explore areas of the mother's surface for a place she loved. He had stood by her side as she identified cycles for support and as she sang energy into food, beauty, abundance. The ancients knew Earth's intelligence was one of their own, a member of their mission. They had walked in her spaces like none since. Grogan held the remembrance of what had been and of what went wrong. He had added great value because of his experiences with a heavier bodysuit. Since her life on the planet would interweave with his, Myra was both observer and participant in his plans. She listened to discussions amongst Tuma's team. They factored in the calculating of the planets affecting Earth, patterns to transform, personal powers to activate, and contracts with others. Deciding a time of birth that would best support Tuma's mission was part of the consideration, and of course, the family of his birth. She shook her head as she thought of today's exercise. It was just too much for her to remain quiet. She laughed again, remembering Tuma working to pull all of his energy into the test model of the tiny physical bodysuit. Maneuvering was another matter. How to make the hands work, mouth function, what system would coordinate the legs and the eyes. And after all the numbers and formulas, calculations and theories, it may all come down to one question. Can we maneuver our tiny bodysuits? Sometimes I know that this mission will easily be accomplished, Tuma had said to Myra one day when they were alone. And yet, it would be foolish to ignore the fact that leaders in the townships where I will birth have great control over people. Myra brushed his hair back over his ears. Well, you know, our friends are committed to you and to the success of this mission. The power of our divine family's commitment to each other is stronger than the energy of chaos and conflict. Tuma took her hand in his and kissed her lips. She always infused him with confidence. Of course, all will be well. Tuma and Myra walked down the sandy path to their favorite spot, a lake at the foot of the crystalline, azure-colored mountains. He held her hand as she made her way around some large boulders to sit on a grassy spot next to the lake. She looked across the water at the abundant vegetation, the glorious trees. I love this place, she said to Tuma. It's so beautiful and peaceful. He settled next to her and they talked of their excitement of what lay ahead. Then they sat quietly. Myra leaned against Tuma. Remember that I will be with your friends as you go, and I will watch over you until I come, Myra whispered. Tuma drew her closer to him. She felt embraced by his love. Every part of her felt caressed with overwhelming emotions. There was never a question as to her place by his side. That is where she belonged. May the time go swiftly until I can hold you again, my love, he whispered. All the love they felt flowed between them. No part of themselves was left untouched, no part that was not transformed by this energy of love that moved, twirled, and filled them. Expanded and more one than ever, knowing that they would soon part. They looked at the azure peaks and the greenery of their home. Myra, I promise from the depth of my soul to fulfill this mission with speed and integrity. Know that I will be there to help you awaken from Earth's density. Myra nestled closer to Tuma and tears flowed down her cheeks. They sat quietly, holding and touching. Myra's birth into a family within the village was planned to occur shortly after Tuma's. She approached her preparation with the same vigor she had seen in Tuma. She had her own team, her own plans. There was a timing issue to be considered, the timing that would bring them together. One day, as Myra was working in her simulated suit, feeling the confusion and the difficulty of the activities, she was not laughing. After an unusually disconcerting maneuver, she huffed. It occurs to me that this vehicle masks my appearance pretty well. Giggling, her team members had to agree. The jerky movements alone hid Myra's natural grace. Then how will Tuma know this is me? Or for that matter, will I know him? The team captain spoke up. That soul link, forged from eons of sharing, is a pretty strong bond. We can't complete this mission alone. It's only together as a team that we will succeed. Some will have small teams, and others will work within larger groups. The game is that every family member will awaken, remember their place and assignment, and each do their part to restore home frequency. Those contracts will bring us together. Tuma walked into the lab during the discussion. The reason for the individual choice is to allow immediate identification of parasitic energy and the ability to demand their removal quickly. That will require that we stand in our vibrations, clarity, and strength. The strength you bring will give me safety, and my love will fill you with confidence and grace. You add your insight, and the connected spokes of the rest of our family causes the game to succeed. Her strength and presence would bring safety to him, and his love would nurture and empower her. Together, they felt confident that they could awaken their community. Ira would develop sensitivities to the lighter energies, as Tuma felt his heart guidance held the frequency of unlimited possibilities of good, and she would clear any hint of negativity. Eventually, Myra and Tuma would join with other ancient ones, and the expansion of the Restore mission would shift the volunteers away from the grip of darkness. One day, Tuma sensed the one he knew as Mother. It came to him as an inner call. He'd often be around during her time of carrying. She was a good woman of royal birth. He felt fortunate that he had chosen her. Now her pains of childbirth pushed to him across the ethers. As he turned to tell Myra, he realized that she already knew. As Tuma drifted away from her, Myra extended into the slower frequencies of Earth to be by the new young mother's side. With encouraging words, she told Tuma's mother of the love her new son would bring. She whispered of his gifts and mission. Although the young mother's ears, dulled from Earth density, could not translate the words, she sensed Myra's presence as a way of hope as she relaxed. Traveling into a dark, dense space, Tuma sped away from the light. He felt himself moving through heaviness and fear. Then Tuma saw his beloved Myra holding the hand of the one he would call Mother. In the next moment, he was pulled toward his physical vehicle and flowed into its very small space. Strange energy fields seemed to supersede his own, and what was once familiar became confused. He was swimming and grasping. Something felt wrong. But what was it? Clouded energy covered his mind. The pain for him and his mother was intense. He moved in and out of the body on many occasions during her time of carrying. Those times he had felt cradled and comforted by the constant beat of his mother-to-be's heart. But birth was a shock to his entire being. He felt pain, fear, confusion. Myra sensed Tuma's panic, his bewilderment. She instantly cleared the waves. She was not unaffected. Her own fears crept in. Were they doing the wise thing? Would they be able to stay clear? As quickly as the doubts arose, she felt them soften and lift. She turned. Dana stood by her side. Those who are committed to guiding Tuma are friends of integrity. They will watch over him. We are stepping into the unknown, but there is much hope for the outcome, Dana comforted. Myra turned back to the birth scene. Tuma had taken his first breath as a member of an Earth family. His mother held him. She smiled, and then, weary with the hours of labor, the new mother closed her eyes and slept. In the days after, Myra watched, missing him so much. Lovingly, her heart reached out to him for the moment they would be together in their earthly adventure. Tuma's Earth family had various reactions to his presence. His mother's mood would change with merely a look and a smile from her son. Others felt calmed as they held and rocked him. But his father, Driva, was not happy with this new male infant. Driva, the grandson of the one whom Myra had known as Lucas, was every bit a product of his grandfather's power-hungry genetics. But unlike his grandfather, who used words to deceive, Driva simply took. His parasitic nature brought enslavement and pain to all around him. Driva felt exhilarated with power and control. It was his reason to live. The weakness of others, their groveling and fear, enabled Driva to command, to take, and to give nothing in return. Tuma, who is now called Bera, was Driva's firstborn son. Bera would be the one to carry on the family line with its titles and lands. Driva would allow no smiles. He calls such exhibitions weakness. Driva met any plea to acknowledge the small one's presence with severe punishment, physical abuse. Driva treated his wife harshly and ignored his son. He decided that as soon as Bera stopped breastfeeding, Driva, would take over the child's training. Myra watched as the traumatic energy around Tuma anchored in his bodysuit. A sense of rejection imprinted his expansive energy fields. His spiritual friends called to him, reminded him, and encouraged him to stay strong. He often heard their calls, the excitement moving his body with the relief their calls evoked. His movements appeared as actions of a happy baby. Bera's mother softly caressed his cheeks, whispered her love, and encouraged his play. For a time, Bera remembered the words, "Earth is a free will planet, and those not in physical body suits have no right to act if not invited." Communicating with his friends through thoughts sent over the ethers, Bera asked for their help. He tried to remember what to ask and how to listen, but his memory soon clouded, the result of the negative energy around his home and earth. The abuse and control within the family and the disruptions in his circuitry systems numbed his resolve.